Hey guys, it's Jake. In the last video I updated you guys on how I created my app icon and some various other things behind the scenes about how I got the app listings and stuff done. So if you're interested in that, go check it out. I've had a few people test the game and I've gotten their feedback, and there's a lot to talk about with that. But before we get into that, if you guys would consider subscribing, it would really help my channel out and help recommend it and use the YouTube algorithm and whatnot, and I'd be very appreciative for that. On another exciting note, I started a Discord server. So if you guys are interested in chatting with me in a more personal way, go check it out. The link will be in the description. But yeah, like I said, we've got a lot to talk about, so let's get into it. So since the last devlog, I've actually sent out some testing builds to family and friends so that they can test the game and give me some well-needed input on if I had any problems or just how the game was going overall in their opinion. And I had the opportunity to watch a lot of these people play it and see how they responded to how like the controls worked and how the overall game experience was. And there was a lot to be learned from this situation, and basically across the board people were not very good at the controls. They had a lot of trouble since the game is I was using the accelerometer. You have to move like this to control Tommy, or like to control your player to move it in the scene, and then you just swipe to go left and right. And I thought that was pretty good, but a lot of people had a lot of trouble with it. I guess people aren't as steady with it. They're kind of just want to jerk it one way or the other, and that just makes it go too fast, and they had no control. So people were dying really fast, and you know, everybody was saying that the game was really hard. So there was a problem that needed to be fixed. If people were gonna be, you know, it frustrated people because the controls weren't working in the way that they expected them to. Also on the turning, when they would need to go right, they would swipe left when they were supposed to be swiping to the right, and then they would blame the game for it. And really that's not the game's fault, because they were the ones that were doing it backwards, but you can't blame the player. They're the ones having the experience. They're the ones that you'd have to tailor the game to. So I needed to change the controls. I really liked the accelerometer to go between it, but even for me, some of the times it wasn't very accurate in what I wanted. And sometimes it felt like when I died a few times, I'd be like, okay, that wasn't quite fair. So I needed to figure out a way to make it very fair, where if it's like, if you died, that was your fault. And then people, I feel like, will enjoy it more. So, following suit with other endless runners, the original design was kind of tailored around like Temple Run, but other endless runners such as like Subway Surfer and Sonic Dash, right? They use lanes that you can swipe between. And so I was like, I'll just do that. That works really well with my type of game. There's already lanes in the road. How can I mess that up? But to do this meant I had to restructure how the player moved, how like I would move around in the environment. I had to figure out how like enemies would go around that. So I had to redo a ton of the game, which was just ridiculous. But I ended up coming out on top. So now it just goes between the lanes. While you're in the original zone, there are 7 lanes. So, oh shoot. Okay, so there are 7 lanes. There's the grass lane, a sidewalk lane, and then the middle lane, and then the reverse on the other side. Now, as for gameplay goes, this is a lot better to control on a mobile device. Mobile devices have always been kind of like finicky with like a lot of different controls. But if you want to make it really easy for the player, you just want to make everything uniform. So, it used to be you were on the phone, you had to remember to move it with the accelerometer, and you also had to remember to swipe left, or to swipe left and to swipe right, and then to jump you had to tap. And that's just too many things for a user to use all at once and to remember. So now, the way that I've set up the controls, the only things you gotta do, you don't have to worry about the accelerometer anymore. All you have to do is swipe right to go right a lane, swipe left to go left a lane, and then you just swipe up to jump. And that's it. There's no more tapping, different controls. It's just right swipe, left swipe, up swipe. And that's the entire controls for the game. I mean, while you're in the menu system, you tap on things, but like for the gameplay, it's just the swiping. So this brings us into this other point of what people really didn't quite understand, nor did they like when testing. When you came to a fork in the road and you had to turn left or right, people were, you know, besides the dyslexic thing where like they would swipe right when they meant to swipe left, they also said that they had a hard time figuring out where their car was going to end up and where what happened was they would crash right after making a turn because they were like, hey, I didn't know I was going to be turning right then. I needed to make a way for people to easily see where you were going to go. So I came up with the idea that if you're in this lane, you would turn and stay in that lane automatically. It just turns automatically for you now. So you don't have to swipe, you don't have to press a button, nothing like that. It'll make it a lot easier, but you can still get hit on it if you're in the same lane as the thing that's coming up on the next corner. So now you can anticipate where you're going to be, and you know where you're going to be based on that. So say you were in this in the far lane, the grass lane, you would turn and stay on the grass. If you were in the sidewalk, you'd stay on the sidewalk. If you were on this, you would go like that, and so on, even to the grass lane over there. Okay, so as we come up with this one, you'll notice that we have different lanes, but how are we going to end up in the right ones respectively? So the way I set it up with this one, if you're on the left side of the road, you're going to be going with the left lanes, and if you're on the right side of the road, you're going to be going on the right turn. So this grass one will continue there, this one will continue there, this one will continue there, this one there, that one there, that one there. But then there's a problem. What do you do with the middle lane? Because the middle lane could go both ways, right? Currently, I have it set up where you always go right, but I could make it so it's a random chance between going left or right, but I'm not entirely sure that would be that. That would just go against what I was going for. I was trying to make it more obvious to the player that you could go one way or the other and make it so that they understood that. So maybe I'll put in a sign, that goes, that'll tell you this lane must turn right or something like that, something to showcase that. So I finished the first zone, the cityscape, but the canyon zone was not set up in a way that worked with lanes at all. In fact, I wanted to change up the gameplay a little bit from the other ones, so I made it so that the road, or like you curve and you have to be focusing on I was really hoping to focus on the accelerometer at that point. There's also this point where boulders are falling from the sky and you have to dodge them and whatnot, and that really does not work with lane movement. So the entire canyon zone has been totally redesigned. It still looks rather similar, but it's now more akin to other endless runners and how it works. It's lane based, just like the rest of the game. However, it funnels you down, and instead of 7 lanes, it brings you down to 3 lanes, which ups the difficulty when you have to avoid obstacles. And now it's just these boulders will spawn, and you have to avoid them and jump over them and stuff. And then these other ones will come rolling at you, and they're random and whatnot, so you can avoid it by doing that. And it just changes it up. It makes it more like a regular endless runner. And honestly, there were so many problems with the canyon before that this is honestly a lot better. And I just feel like it'll work well with the game, and people won't get confused and why is the gameplay changing up for no reason. Besides that, I haven't done much. I mean, I had to rework entire systems here. I had to really focus on the controls of it, and I hope that in the end it'll pay off and everybody will be able to play it better and have a better experience. I would just like to thank you guys for watching this video. It really does mean a lot to me that you guys stick around to the end of it, and if you guys want to play one of my games, my game Crosswalk the Game is still live on the App Store. If you guys want to check it out, the link will be in the description. And yeah, thanks for watching.